I totally confess, I love the top 5 Wednesday videos. I love filming the top 5 Wednesday videos, but I really, really love the reading wrap-up videos, and today is a reading wrap-up video. Hello friends, happy Friday. So very excited that you're here. As you guys can see, I once again have the video up late. Usually I try and do the very first Friday of the new month, but since Tear Moon Empire was coming out, the anime, I really wanted to review volumes 1 and 2, so you can check that out here if you'd like to get a idea of how or feel of how the manga is. Be sure to check that out. Very, very excited for today's video. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I read 34 volumes of manga last month, which totally shocked me because I honestly feel like I did not read that much, but obviously that number reflects a different story. So let's go ahead and jump into the digital manga. I read 1, 2, 3, 4 digital manga, and I'm going to start off with Bless. I have actually been reading this on the K Manga app website. I don't use the app, I use the website. Totally recommend the website because there's not a bunch of ads or pop-ups or anything, but I've been reading these chapters for free since Kodansha or the K Manga announced that it was on there because I had heard great things about the manga and a lot of people seem really excited for it. So I'm like, I'm going to try it out, and hello, I want to get it too physically. It was so very good. I feel like this actually is more of what I was looking for from Cinderella Closet, which I still enjoy that manga, but I don't know, this one has a deeper feel to the story because the main guy, he is a model. He was sort of like a professional model, but that's really not what he wanted to do. He really wanted to be a makeup artist. And so he ends up befriending or meeting this girl in his class who is really tall. She sort of like hunkers down when she walks because she's just so tall and she has a bunch of freckles. She's so beautiful, but like she's embarrassed by them. And so they team up for this competition. She's supposed to be he's supposed to be the model, and I think she's supposed to be like the makeup artist, but they end up switching and they win the contest. And so now they're thinking and really wanting to pursue their dreams. Her, she's wanting to be a model, and him, he wants to be a makeup artist. I have deeply enjoyed this. I was reading it like I was using my tickets to read like a chapter a day, and it is phenomenal. I highly recommend it. I saw it comes out in April of next year because I just was looking up the paperback this morning and I want it. I really enjoyed it. Cannot wait to read more of that manga. Now, outside of reading that like a little bit throughout of last month, the first digital manga that I read, I got an early copy, and that is Sakura Saku. This was amazing. I'm very, very excited. I just gushed about how Iosaki Saka is one of my instant pre-order mangaka. This series is living up to the hype. It is living up to the excitement, my expectations, everything I was hoping. I know that like the little short blurb says like it's a bittersweet story of love. Yes, maybe it has a little bit of that bittersweetness, but I don't feel it's what I originally thought. Like it feels more sweeter to me. Yes, the main girl does go through a lot, but I will say this is the first Iosaki Saka manga that I have deeply related to the heroine. I really love how Iosaki Saka has written her heroes, and they have all had struggles with like mental health and whatnot, but this one was different concerning the heroine, and I instantly just latched onto her, like not in a creepy way or anything, but the relatability, I just really saw some of myself in her and just appreciate how her character was written. I really like the male lead. I was a little bit afraid because he does look like Ren from Strobe Edge, and I was nervous. I was really nervous, but I didn't have that problem, the nervousness of that. Like he's his own guy. He's not really grumpy. I think he's got some really great qualities about him, and I'm very curious to see where this manga goes. Very excited that I've already pre-ordered volume 1. I have volume 2 in my cart because I need to read more. The next digital manga that I read was also an early copy, and that was Tamen's B-Side. This is by the same manga creator as Takane and Hana. I was a little bit nervous about this because I've noticed that like some of the idol manga can be hit or miss for me. I don't know why that is. Like there's nothing I can like pinpoint and say it's, oh, if it doesn't have this or it does have this, but I wanted to try this out because Takane and Hana is so very funny. So I came in expecting this manga to be very funny, and it definitely was. But I do want to give a heads up because as somebody who often can fall into the trap of degrading themselves very easily, unfortunately, it was was a little bit triggering at times because Gloomy Hara, as our main girl calls him, he really degrades himself really, really harsh. I know that some of it's supposed to be for humor, and it also really does a great job of like the first volume anyway of showing that idols are people too. They have their own struggles. Some of those can be mental health, some of those can just be physical or a combination. And I really did like that aspect, but it was triggering at times when he's like, I am the lowest of low. I'm worse than just like landfill waste. And I'm like, Gloomy Hara, please, you know, view yourself a little bit more confidently than that. So there were a few points where I felt very triggered, but overall, I really loved it. Was gonna pre-order it, and then I was like, I don't know, let me try it first. And then it was getting closer to the end, and there was just one little smile. And I was like, this is an instant pre-order. This became a pre-order, so I went ahead and pre-ordered it physically. I didn't really enjoy all of like the church talk, so to speak, but I love the main girl. I love the story itself. It was very funny, very enlightening, and very much looking forward to the next volume. The last digital manga that I read was My Boyfriend Orange, Volume 1. I buddy read this with my friend Danielle, and I just apologized to her because I was supposed to read it sooner than I did, but hopefully it worked out for the both of us. I had a blast sending her panels. This manga was super sweet. It is an age gap manga, but I thought it was really well done. I did think it a little bit odd at times that like originally at first that Mo, the main girl, that I felt like she was seeing the guy more like a father-like figure, but I do feel like that was easing off because she had lost her dad, I think like a few years ago or fairly recently. And so I felt like she was looking at the hot fireman, as they call him, like I forget his name. She starts having genuine romantic feelings for him. And I just admire how bold this girl was in telling him how she felt for him. And not only that, like he comes across really gruff and really mean, but he is a passionate young man. And I really love those moments. Like me and Danielle both gushed of how sweet it was when he has these really kind smiles towards her and he gets all blushy face. It was super cute. So I'm definitely hoping, and also the art was very beautiful, really enjoyed it. And I love too how it had like a natural inclusion of fire safety and just safety in general. Like it didn't feel like, okay, we're having this romance, bam, I'm gonna give you a safety tip about fire health and stuff. Like no, it felt naturally part of the story, which I really appreciate. Do hope that the manga will have another digital sale. I know in the past it has. I did read the preview of volume 2, and I feel like where maybe I was a little uncertain about the romance, not because of the age gap, but just because of how Mo viewed him, like that's gone because the beginning of volume 2 was super cute, and I was like, the urge to go ahead and buy this volume is pretty strong, but I'm gonna hold out and hope there's a digital manga sale at some point to continue the series. Now we go into the physical manga, and this is my new favorite manga, or at least it definitely was my favorite manga of last month. That is The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent. The anime is coming out. It might already be out as of filming this video. I filmed this at the very beginning of the month because my next series on the spotlight I have to return to my library. But I read volumes 3 through 7, and this was everything I was hoping for. It was so wonderful. I gushed about it in a video. I absolutely love it. It is up there with Snow with the Red Hair, in that these have become my new bookish besties. Like my bookish besties are just, they're growing. They're growing. It was so good. It has a nice bit of humor, has lots of slice of life. I really like the magical isekai part of the story. Sei is a phenomenal heroine. She definitely has become like one of those heroines I really admire and aspire, to be. Like she reminds me of Shirayuki in that, and I love them both. I love them both. Cannot wait for volume 8 to release next year. Like, come on, January. I need it. I need volume 8. I need to see where the series is going to go because I just love these characters. I love these characters. So if you're curious about more of my thoughts on this, definitely be sure to check out my review. Highly, highly recommend The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent. It is amazing and it needs more love. We need some merch of this series like ASAP. Oh, the next series I'm not very keen to talk about because I did not love it. It is a 12-volume series. It is a shoujo manga, and that is Sakura Hime, The Legend of Princess Sakura. This is by the very popular mangaka, what is her name? Arina Tanamura. I enjoyed the beginning. I think I liked like the first 3 volumes. I thought they were really good, very interesting and engaging. I really liked how we have basically like historical fantasy meets magical girl, which was epic. That is like the coolest mashup that I have seen when it comes to magical girls right now. So I really love that. And I, again, thought volumes 1 through 3 were good, but I think it was like volume No, I did not like volume 4 because I do not like this character right here. And I almost dropped the series here because that's how much I dislike this character. He just needs to get up. I just didn't like him. But then the mangaka had made a note where she said that she wanted for this series to sort of become like, when it came to the fighting, for it to be like a shonen manga. I think she did this really well because once we got to volume 5, I felt very invested in this series. Like, I thought it was extremely good. Like, the arc was just phenomenal. I love getting where they're fighting and then it goes to a backstory flashback and then it goes back to the fighting, seeing how that fight was going to play out. Volumes 6 and 7, I love these series. But we're going to focus on this cover because I love this cover. In fact, these 2 volumes will live rent-free in my head for an extremely long time. In fact, if I could, I would just go buy these 2 volumes. I'm still on the fence. I want to get this as like a poster though. I need to go try and find the art without the text because I love them. This couple right here is amazing. They broke my heart. They crushed me. I sobbed every time I read these 2 volumes because I read them a total of 3 times. These 2 volumes specifically, but every time I read it, I sobbed. Like, I was just like, Laura, you know it's coming, but still I sobbed. The way that their story was written is so beautiful and so very compelling. Felt all of the feels and I'm just like, why? Which leads into the next part of the series, volumes 8 through 12, which I did not enjoy. There are a few different things. I felt like after we have the big battles that happen, I felt like just the series changed. It was no longer the magical girl aspect was prevalent. Our main girl, who I'm forgetting her name right now, she has a lot of like political stuff going on, which makes sense due to the time era that this is, and there is a lot of politics because she is in an arranged marriage with this young man here. But they genuinely love each other and they have feelings for each other, but there's some things that are going on and I just felt like she was not the girl that she was in the beginning, where she's kicking butt, and I get it that she can't always be kicking butt. Like, I do understand that. But I really didn't like how she suddenly is just so... Try to think of how to explain this because I still thought she was a great character, but I feel like how she was being treated was just not... It was just not good. It was making her not be confident in herself any longer. And then something happens, I believe it was in this volume with another character, that just was absolutely horrendous. It was somewhere in those volumes where Sakura, that's her name. Her name's right there. Don't mind me, that was her name. Hello, it's in the title. But anyway, there is a moment where there is sexual harassment and somebody forces themselves upon her. I did not like that, obviously. But the thing that made it worse is that when her love interest, the male hero, comes in and he sees what's happening, he stops the situation, thankfully. But then they go and they're traveling back home and she is profusively apologizing for what the other guy did to her. Girl, no, you never, ever have to apologize for that. You did no kind of wrong. You were the victim. And then she's trying to say too, not only is she apologizing for how she acted because there was a previous thing that happened, they got into a disagreement between her and the male hero, which rightfully so, she has a right to her feelings. And I will just say to you too, viewer, you have a right to your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings and nobody can say that they're wrong because that's your feelings. And I wish Sakura could have known that because that was sort of like the catalyst. And then so she's apologizing for that. She's apologizing because she was sexually harassed. And then to top it off, she says, oh, it was just a joke. He was just being funny. Girl, no, he was not being funny. He physically pushed you to the ground, forced his mouth upon yours, and made you have to endure a kiss that you did not want. Nope. So I was really livid after that. In fact, I just skim read these 2 volumes, and then we got to the final volume. I thought really hard about it. Yes, I guess it does have sort of a happy ending, but I was not satisfied as a reader. It was not nearly as amazing as it was in the beginning and the middle. I don't know if I could recommend it. I would say read up to basically the shonen arc because the fighting was great, the art was stunning, but I was not happy with the things that took place in this final volume. And it's not a series that I will come back to except for volumes 6 and 7. We did get the magical aspect back at the end, but I just felt like it was too late by that point in time and I just could not get back into the series. So unfortunately, that was not my favorite read of this month. That was my least favorite, but I really do love volumes 6 and 7 and can recommend it up to that point. Now, another series that I will be honest and say I was a little bit hesitant if I would love it or super enjoy it But imagine my surprise that I really enjoyed it the further that this series progressed, and that is Mint Chocolate Volumes 1 through 8. Volume 9 might be out once this video goes live. I'm not really sure. But this was actually a Patreon pick. I'm so glad that I read it because my friend Danielle had mentioned that this is a really fun story, and I've had Marg at Marg Reads Manga say the same thing, and my friend Summerlee, they all said the same thing, that this is a really cute story. It does, I'm just gonna warn, it does have the step sibling label on it, but I do not feel like it wasn't what I expected. There are very clear lines, and I do have a review coming out later this month. I enjoyed the beginning of this series a lot. It was very, very funny. I love the characters, but honestly, the more that this series progressed and the characters matured, I just felt like there were some surprisingly deeper themes that came up that really, really shook me and resonated with me. I've actually thought about the main guy and sort of his struggles and his fear that he has had in this series and how I can relate to that, but also to our main girl, because she shared, like, we get like a flashback of her backstory or like when she was little, and that is the first time outside of reading Fruits Basket where I have seen myself directly in a character, specifically in shoujo manga. I felt very invested after that because I just was like, I've never seen myself the same way represented. So I'm very, very much looking forward to my review coming out. I hope that you'll check it out, despite that it has the label, and I do talk a little bit more about that. But these two volumes I love. These were my two favorite volumes of the series, and I really can't wait to see it goes. I'm cheering for them, like romantically and just as individuals, because it has been a very beautiful journey to be with them, and I'm so glad that I read it. Oh gosh, but this dude right here in the later volumes, I can't stand him. He needs to get ripped off the page, causing problems, causing trauma. Like, get off the page. Nobody got time for you. So definitely stay tuned for that. Very excited that the Patreon members chose that, and channelship members, because it will be hopefully a really good video and just can convince other people to check it out. This is one of my favorite manga. I have just admitted that to myself, even though it's super toxic, but I read volume 4 of No Longer Heroine. I love this volume even more than the previous one. Things get worse. They take a turn. I mean, we think Rita's like finally gonna man up, make some choices. No, that man did not man up, and I get it. He's struggling, but dude, you gotta make a decision. He does not make a decision, and he's hurting people, and I don't know, but I hope that Hattori can move on from Rita, go for the other dude that actually likes you. They do not have a toxic relationship, and he has always been upfront and honest about who he is, what he's about. I have really enjoyed seeing their romance or whatever sort of unfold, but Adachi, girl, I feel bad for you. You deserve better. I think she needs to dump Rita, move on, and find her own happiness. That does not involve Rita. How this volume unfolded, it does not look like that's gonna happen at all, because she's pretty crushed right now, and I get it. I understand, but I'm just like, you need to move on from this man. So we'll see how things go, but this guy definitely surprised me because I was very much team Rita in the previous volume, but now I'm team this guy. What is his name? I don't even remember his name, but yeah, he's pretty great. And I loved even his character development, and I do feel like Hattori actually had character development because of him. And it was like progressing in a positive way, not a bad way. But I really, really enjoy it. I always have a great time, and the expressions are always gold. One of my favorite series this year that's ongoing, we got a new volume, and that is The Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom, Volume 3. We see the surgery unfold. We see some other things. Our main girl, she is a hoot. We see her love of muscles continued and shine in this volume, and how it really does influence her decisions, and I was here for it. I'm very curious to see where things are going to go. I love the prince and how, you know, he knows how to keep her around. He knows how to keep her around, even though like he just made up something to keep her around, but she wants to stay to help people, and I really love seeing her in action of how she did help somebody else that wasn't just part of the surgery. I feel bad for what is his name, but he's like the prince's right-hand man. The name of I think it's like the second chapter of this volume. It was unwilling assistant, because it's like surgical instruments, check. Medicine, check. Unwilling assistant, check. And I felt bad for him because he is the unwilling assistant, and you could tell that he was pretty nauseous and that he had to really hold his ground to help be the assistant. So it is great. It's phenomenal. One of my favorite shoujo that has been releasing this year. Highly recommend if you were looking for like a Chinese historical vibe. There's no romance, but supposedly this series does turn to a romance, but also if you want like some medical stuff that's going on, no blood. So if you're like me, you're like, I don't want to see that. Everything was really well done, and there was nothing that made me feel nauseous except for the needle, but I have my own little fear phobia of needles, so that was a little bit like, oh, I gotta cover up this page and just read the bubble so I don't like get all like freaked out and grossed out and everything. But outside of that, very funny, very amazing, highly recommend. Another manga that I picked up and read that I super enjoyed volume 1, I read volume 2, was I Want to Be a Receptionist in This Magical World. I always think this is an isekai. It's not an isekai. It is a fantasy shoujo world. I enjoyed this one. I didn't love it as much as volume 1 just because I'm here, I realized, for that romance with the rivalry between her and Rockman, but that doesn't happen until like the second half of the manga, so I missed that. But I really love seeing our main girl pursue her dreams of being a receptionist. We're just slowly, gradually seeing that unfold, though the last half with Rockman was gold. Absolutely loved it. I'm definitely going to pick up volume 3. Still would recommend it. I feel like this world is only getting more bigger and more grand. I'm very curious to see how Rockman is going to be involved because I feel like we got a little bit of a ship sailing here, but our main girl just don't see it. Our main girl just doesn't see it. Very much looking forward to volume 3, reminding myself I'm not just here for the romance, but I'm here for the romance and hoping we get more romance in the next volume. I recently just did a manga review of this, and I'm just going to say the first half of the title, not the full thing, and that is I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness. This was a lot of fun, definitely had deeper themes than I expected. Again, I just reviewed volume 1 in light of the anime coming out. Very much looking forward to that. Again, I'm doing this video early, so I might have already seen it, but I hope that I enjoyed it. This very much surprised me, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're curious more about thoughts on it, and if I would recommend it, which I do, definitely go check out that video as well. The one that was really big that I definitely want to read before the month ended is My Happy Marriage Volume 4. Why must these volumes be so heartbreaking? They are so beautiful, but so heartbreaking. And Mio, oh my gosh, I'm just like, girl, my heart is breaking for you. And how it ended. Oh, I need answers. I need answers. Definitely a very good volume. Definitely left me very emotional, which I don't always love, but I love the story, love the characters, wishing the best and happiest of things for them. I hope that there's going to be some happy things that are happening in the next volume, but also I need our leads to have some reconciliation because some things were said, and I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. The ship needs to be protected at all costs. No issues, no problems. Yeah. That just needs to definitely be a thing. I really love our guy's sister. She is so amazing. I really loved just how bright of a character she is, especially when we get a little bit of her backstory in this volume. The way that she touches Mio is just very cool, and maybe that's not the right word, but I just really feel like she is such a light and inspiration, and really glad that she is here in Mio's life and able to just pour love into her and confidence and encouragement, because Mio, she needs it. She needs it, and she wants to give that to other people as well. I definitely think that she can do it. I just hope that things are good in the next volume, and that she can do exactly that, because I need to see how things are going to unfold, because that was quite the bomb that was dropped at the end of this volume. So definitely brace yourself for that. And the final volume that I read last month was My Stepmother and Stepsisters Aren't Wicked Volume 2. My only complaint about this is, why are these volumes so short? Look how short they are. They're so tiny. I read this in like 30 minutes, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. The art continues to be great. The sisters are so funny. I love seeing our main girl here, our Cinderella-like character. I love seeing her have more confidence, her being to speak out a little bit more, her wanting to do things for her sisters, and just seeing her smile. It was very beautiful and very nice. We got a new character that came on the scene who was quite funny and sort of like a challenger slash rival, and I did really enjoy that. We also got a backstory of one of the maids, which was pretty funny, and I did laugh. I really enjoyed this. I think I'm gonna request and see if my library would be willing to get future volumes, because I love the series, but I'm just like, the price tag on these and how fast I'm reading them, I'm like, oh, I wish I could get it cheaper, but I definitely would still recommend it. It's very fun, great wholesome slice of life manga that is just a great time to read if you want to relax, and especially has all of the funny expressions, which there was more I could say, but it's just slice of life and you're just seeing the shenanigans, and it's very nice. Though look, you see this, right? You can see that nice shiny glare on it. You're like, oh, it's a colored page. Wrong! It's a colored title page. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I was like, I thought we about to get a colored page, at least put this one on the inside or something. But that's okay. It's still great. Definitely would recommend. It was a great way to finish up the month of, for the most part, a really great month of reading. I hope that you read some great things as well, friends. I would love to hear, what did you read, whether you liked it or disliked it, though hopefully there were lots of good things, because that's always great. You know, when we're reading things we love and we can gush about them, yes, that is the best kind of thing. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!